If you could please put your hands together and welcome Doug Stevenson.
Hi. I have a bicycle story. I've pretty much always been the highly toned athlete I am today. And a number of years ago, I was an avid cyclist. This is about the year 2000. In the 90s, I had procured an SUV, and I had totally got into the whole outdoors thing. I was getting outdoor magazine and stuff, and Men's Life. I put a bike rack on my car, and I bought not one, not two, but 3 mountain bikes, a Specialized, a Cannondale, and I don't even remember what the other one was. And my friend Kevin came up to me one day and said, you know what? I'd kind of like to go out biking with you. I had done some trails in Wisconsin and some hills in Iowa. He said, you know what? More than that, I think we should do this AIDS ride, an AIDS fundraiser that's a bike ride from Minneapolis to Chicago, a bike ride lasting 6 days and covering 400 miles. I said, okay. And we were crazy, and we raised the adequate amount of money. And then the training started. And actually, we came down to this area. We rode from here up to St. Joe and back, and into Indiana and back. And we didn't kill ourselves, but we convinced ourselves we were in shape enough for this big adventure. So anyway, make a long story short, there's a lot of preparation in this, though. I mean, Kevin, as a kid, was growing up, and he was like the middle kid in a large Irish Catholic family. And he had hand-me-downs from all of his brothers all of his life. And one of the things that really bugged him was he had this old beat-up Schwinn bicycle that his 3 brothers before him had owned. And so he was determined to get a really cool bike for this trip. So he found like a $3,600 Italian bicycle on eBay and sent away for it. And we assembled the thing together, and the thing must have had 157 gears, and we had to use metric tools. And the funny thing was, Kevin was a guy who was 6'5", 370 pounds. He made me look like Pee Wee Herman. And he had this little Italian bicycle that probably weighed like 7 ounces. You could lift with your finger. And when he got on that thing, it looked like he was just like a mailbox. Anyway, we got this, and then that wasn't enough. You had to prepare. We were out there for 6 days camping and riding bikes in the hot sun, so you needed all the proper equipment. We needed a couple of helmets, and we needed a shirt for each day, and we got the ones with the branded logos. Tanqueray was a sponsor of the AIDS ride. They sent us one, and we got all these other fancy ones. And then you needed bike pants, too. And you needed the bike pants with padding in the seat, because you're going to be on a bike seat for 8 hours a day, 6 days in a row. And so we got the padded bike shorts. And then we got the gel pads for our seats. Then we got the rear view mirrors for our helmets and our bikes. And we got reflectors. And, we got the special shoes that lock into your pedals and all that stuff. And that was only the beginning. Because then there were all the salves. There was butt salve. There was salve at the inside of your thighs. There was salve for your elbows. There was salve for behind your ears. We had zinc oxide for our nose and our ears. We had bug spray, sunscreen, 4 different varieties. We had lip balm. We had that black stuff you put under your eyes. We had salve to remove the salve. I go on. So anyway, and we had to sleep out in these tents for 6 days. So you had to bring a sleeping bag and pillows and everything. I had to go out and buy a waterproof duffel bag about the size of one of those one-man submarines. You know, it was about yay long. Packed it all up, went to Minneapolis, started out in our adventure, and we were doing pretty good the first day. Got up at 8 o'clock, we're out on the track on the road at 8 o'clock in the morning. And we had to do 80 miles the first day. And it was about 3:30 in the afternoon, and we were 60 miles in, and we were feeling pretty good. And we had just come from a rest stop. They had rest stops every 15 or 20 miles or so. And we were cruising down the road, and it got a little bit windy that day, so we were kind of in Tour de France mode. He was like blocking wind for me, acting as a windscreen, and I was then taking turns in front of him and he in front of me, and we were just breezing along like the coolest dudes on the planet. And then suddenly, in my rear view mirror, off my helmet, there was a dot that was growing into a bigger dot, and a bigger dot, and a ball. And I'm thinking, maybe it's one of the volunteers on a moped or something. But no, as he got closer, was this weird-looking guy on a bike. Remember Knucklehead Smith, or think of Curly Howard of the Three Stooges. A guy with a bald head, a big leering grin, a metal cap on his front tooth, on an old Schwinn bicycle, worse than the one that Kevin had as a kid. And he even had like the plastic streamers off the handlebars, and he had coaster brakes, and he had no front fender, and the back fender had a sticker from Riverview Amusement Park and an old Cubs decal. And he just pulled up alongside of us, and then he was gone, blew by us. And we're like, we're thinking we're Lance Armstrong, and this goofy guy, leaves us in his dust. And by the way, he's got some black cut-off jean shorts, some black socks, some black high-top Keds, no helmet, and a shirt that says, "I'm with stupid." So from that day on, we started calling him the stupid biker guy. Anyway, second day out, same thing happened. Second to last rest stop, we're on our own, and boom, there comes the stupid biker guy. "I'm with stupid" t-shirt. Apparently he didn't get the memo about changing your shirts every day, and the same black shorts and the same black socks and the same black high-top Keds blowing by us. In the meantime, we're out camping. This is a roving camping caravan, and we're in these tent cities where the tents are side by side by side, and really, it's a nightmare, basically. I mean, you got to wait in line for a bathroom stall, to take a shower, long lines to get some tofu and greens for dinner, and it stinks to high heaven because people are farting the veggies they just ate, and you're side by side by side by side, and then there's animals. Some guy yelled snake, and there's frogs jumping around, and there was an animal sound that sounded like a possum or a raccoon was being disemboweled by a coyote. And then over all of that din were the sounds of the guys snoring and the tents going out and in and out and in. It was basically your nightmare. Anyway, the next day we're out. No sign of the stupid bike guy. But it's a rainy day. We're going through a part of Wisconsin where there's old train tunnel after old train tunnel, and we would emerge from these train tunnels that would be 3-4 miles long, and sure as shoot, as soon as we got out of the tunnel, we would be once again just engorged in this downpour. I mean, just rain, and we were soaking wet and muddy, and we decided to flag down the rescue van to take us in because we were done for the day. And as we flagged down the rescue van, we're putting our bikes into the back of the van. Sure enough, stupid bike guy comes driving by. "I'm with stupid" t-shirt, black cutoff jean shorts, black socks, black Keds. Grinned at us, showed his metal tooth, waved, and he was off. Anyway, we got back to camp that night. We were in at dinner, and the lines for the showers were too long, and we just sat down as is, covered with mud. And out of nowhere, these two young girls, two Jewish American princesses, and I mentioned they're Jewish American princesses because it's really important, because leave it to two Jewish American princesses who have the resources to create luxury in the midst of filth and chaos. Because they show up to the table and they're pristine. Their hair is sort of like blowing in the wind, and their eyes are perfectly lined with mascara, and their cheeks are aglow with glowing dust. And they're in these perfectly little prim outfits with big, broad smiles. And, well, we get to talking to them. And we say, what's with this? You guys were just on this bike ride. It was horrible out there today. And they go, "Oh, no, we're staying in a motel." And Kevin and I looked at each other and went, "Motel? That's the ticket." So before we knew it, we were following the girls back to their motel and got our own room and checked in. But before we all went to bed, we went to the bar next door. In Wisconsin, there's always a bar next door. And 9 out of 10 times, or maybe 11 out of 10 times, there's an old-style sign outside of it. And we're in there talking to the girls, and we weren't really satisfied with our tofu and greens meal, so we were carbo loading in our justification on some Tombstone pizza and some Slim Jims and some Leinenkugels, and having a gay old time. We were just about to leave to go back to the motel, and who comes through the door but the stupid bike guy? Oh my God, and he's wearing "I'm with stupid" t-shirt, and he's got the whole outfit still on, and we end up staying, hanging out with him, and he's buying his beers, and he's buying himself. He must have had 12 beers as we were just sitting there talking to him, and shots of